It was clear that with Dune Part 2, the saga of Paul Atreides would not end in the vastness of the desert, and that Denis Villeneuve would complete his trilogy with one more film. What was not clear, however, was when this would happen. As always planned, Villeneuve treated the first book by Frank Herbert in 2 films, without giving even one film a truly satisfying ending.
Desert power.
This is only the beginning.
There has to be a third film, based on the second book, which Herbert actually only wrote because, according to him, people didn't understand Paul Atreides properly. The future Paul Atreides foresaw, the future he tried to escape from, has caught up with him, made him what the prophecy seemed to mean, a messiah. To mean because the elephant that is always in the room when you talk about Dune has already been opening the answer to the question of the Chosen One who will create paradise by bringing peace to the galaxy for 40 years. Is it Luke or Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One the prophecy speaks of? That George Lucas was more than just inspired by Frank Herbert's Dune is not up for discussion. However, if we look at Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 1 and especially Part 2 today, discussions open up as to whether the sunset over Arrakis will eclipse that over Tatooine in 40 years' time. In the world of science fiction cinema, there are only a few things that have such a fundamental place as the era of Star Wars. George Lucas created a saga that not only fascinated generations of viewers, but also had a cultural impact of immense reach. Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2 has taken this science fiction cinema world by storm and is already taking its place at least alongside Star Wars. Christopher Nolan already describes what Villeneuve establishes in Part 2 as an incredible, exciting extension. The comparisons between Dune and Star Wars are inevitable, as both works share similar thematic elements and narrative structures. Nolan even goes so far as to compare Dune Part 2 with The Empire Strikes Back, and this comparison is not only flattering, but also very fitting. Dune Part 2 continues the story of Paul Atreides in a way that takes the audience to the deepest pits and highest peaks of the desert planet Arrakis. Villeneuve has managed to capture the essence of Frank Herbert's epic novel while creating a cinematic vision that is both breathtaking and profound.
It's breathtaking.
When you see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
Paul Atreides, much like Luke Skywalker, finds himself at a crossroad. His visions of a future dystopia that he hopes to prevent are both frightening and fascinating. These visions are strongly reminiscent of Luke's confrontation with the dark side of the Force and his own future as a Jedi.
Come with me. It is the only way.
As Luke struggles with the revelation of his parentage and his role in the greater struggle of the universe, Paul struggles with the burden of the prophecy once placed on Anakin Skywalker.
Well, since you've had one of those nightmares, tell me, what was it about?
Around the expectations placed on him as a supposed Messiah. And as a Messiah figure demands, Villeneuve uses a new image format in certain scenes in Part 2, in contrast to Part 1. IMAX, just as Nolan has been demanding for a long time. An IMAX film is presented in a ratio of 1.43 to 1, which differs significantly from the usual 21:9 CinemaScope ratio, and the differences are so great that it's no longer just a matter of comparing numbers. The IMAX philosophy is based on the image completely filling the viewer's peripheral field of vision. Viewed on a small monitor, the image is often framed by negative space, which enhances the immersive qualities of the IMAX format. Much of Dune is framed in this way, making the characters look intentionally insignificant against the vast desert. RE Rental supplied IMAX certified cameras and lenses for the production, and like any well-produced film, Dune Part 2 demands a thoughtful choice of lenses. And above all, the choice of time and location is crucial. In the case of Dune Part 2, a $190 million blockbuster, Soviet lenses from the 1960s were used, which are available on eBay for just $50. The Helios 4042 lens is known for its characteristic Petzval bokeh. Using it for the scenes on Kaitain, it gives the world a unique visual character and enhances the contrast with the clear expanse on Arrakis. And then there's the famous infrared sequence on Gidi Prime. Craig Fraser, the cinematographer, emphasizes that this choice serves the purpose of creating a distinct visual contrast between different locations. Gidi Prime, the home planet of the Harkonnen, is presented by Fraser in such a way that one begins to understand why the Harkonnen are hairless and pale, for the light on their planet, such as it is, seems more like a poison than a source of warmth and growth. Fraser explained that the use of infrared cameras is nothing new. In fact, we come across such images all the time, be it when checking security cameras or looking at night shots. The gladiator sequence on Gidi Prime is an impressive testament to the creative and technical excellence behind Dune Part 2. It is a breathtaking example of the artistry of hundreds of people coming together to make a single moment chip and shatter.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
The final of Dune Part 2 confronts us with the tense question of how much truth there is in the prophecies surrounding Paul Atreides and the Fremen. Paul's journey, which began in part 1 as an ascension after the fall of House Atreides, finds its confrontation with the reality of prophecy in this part, without providing an answer to the question of whether he is the Messiah in either direction. It's a centerpiece in a story that still needs an ending. How Empire Strikes Back demands that Return of the Jedi exists.
Lead them to paradise.
The ambiguity surrounding Paul's role as the prophesied Messiah persists, forcing both the characters and us to question the deeper meaning of his visions and actions. This uncertainty heightens the tension and paves the way for the next movie, where the final answers and resolutions are awaited. The tension between Paul's personal search for identity and the collective hope projected in him will lead the plot into the final act. Villeneuve has masterfully found the balance between the epic battles and the intimate, personal moments that empathize the depth and complexity of the story.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides.
The visual and narrative parallels to Star Wars are obvious, but Dune Part 2 stands on its own as an independent work characterized by its own unique interpretation of the themes of destiny, power, and responsibility. And on the horizon of Dune Part 2 is a deeper understanding of Paul's inner and outer struggles. And while Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker have been considered the central figures of prophecy in a galaxy far, far away for decades, Paul Atreides is now challenging these icons. The question of whether the sunset over Arrakis in 40 years' time will eclipse that over Tatooine remains unanswered for now. Villeneuve himself embodies the idea of the self-fulfilling prophecy. He could be the one to bring Frank Herbert's complex world to the screen in all its depth and splendor. With Dune Part 2, he has confirmed his prediction and thus fulfilled his own cinematic destiny. But Denis Villeneuve has also proven that he's not only capable of bringing Herbert's visions to life, but also defining a new era of science fiction that has the potential to surpass the cultural impact of Star Wars. Just as Return of the Jedi completed the Star Wars trilogy, the world now eagerly awaits Dune Messiah to bring Paul Atreides' saga to an epic conclusion.